Hey guys, it is Tuesday, and not only has the Infinite Archive vendor changed what he has for sale, finally the Scholarium vendor has as well. We weren't sure when he was going to be changing his wares, but look at this. He finally changed. So the 4 new scripts that he has to offer: Savagery and Prophecy affix. Adds Savagery and Prophecy pretty easy, right? Disease Damage. Adds disease damage to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. So that's a focus script. We have another focus script, which is Generate Ultimate, which could be pretty good for a support. And then Leeching Thirst signature script. Adds a heal for percentage of damage done to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. I do think that it is better to buy your scripts from the Scholarium vendor than from the Infinite Archive vendor, just due to price and the time investment in earning the gold versus earning archival fortunes. So I will be buying these each week from him. Remember, buy it on one character first. That way it's cheaper on every subsequent character. Okay, let's go to the Infinite Archive vendor. Okay, and now we're in Infinite Archive, and we have some scripts here as well. We have the affix script Expedition. Adds Expedition, a buff increasing movement speed to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. We have Mangle, which is an affix script. Debuff reducing max health to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Remember, Mangle is not going to work on bosses. It's only going to work on trash, but it could be good for a trash build. Next one I'm most excited about. Multi-target. Adds a multi-target hit to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire, so it turns something into an AoE. I like this one a lot, and I will probably be spending the archival fortunes for this one. Then we have the signature script Gladiator's Tenacity. Adds damage reduction to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. All right, now we have our regular offerings. Our map this week is Strathmakai. You get trainee gear out of starter zones. Strathmakai treasure maps are super cheap. You do have a chance of getting an ancestral orc motif lead from the Strathmakai treasure maps, but again, they're fairly cheap. Don't spend 2,000 archival fortunes on that when you can get a script for 2,000 archival fortunes. It just doesn't make sense to me. Our style page this week is another shoulder, the Infernal Guardian shoulder. Infernal Guardian comes out of City of Ash 1, but the shoulder, of course, you buy from the Undaunted vendor when the mask style page is dropping. I don't think these shoulders are a great deal, but this is up to you, of course. Next up is companion equipment, light armor. You guys know that I never recommend these unless maybe if it's jewelry, but not for light armor. The only thing you're really looking for here is soothing, maybe quickened. I don't recommend spending 5,000 archival fortunes. Remember, companion equipment is always bound when you buy it from the Infinite Archive vendor. Dwarven Theodolite shoulder is one of 7 pieces needed to create the Dwarven Theodolite pet. These pieces drop out of... Hang on. It's a Dwemer pronunciation. Schulefthinks? Schulefthinks. Something like that. Okay. These drop fairly easily, although I do find it to be a bit of a maze in that public dungeon, so up to you. I think 7,000 archival fortunes is pretty steep, though. These are also, of course, going to be available at vendors. 1,200 to 1,500 gold on PCNA. Just go find a guild trader and buy it. We have 2 leads this week, as usual. The first one is for the Ritual Circlet, which is part of Gaze of Sithis. This one drops out of Cradle of Shadows. I believe that's the final boss. I didn't find this one particularly difficult to get, but if you're somebody that has trouble getting groups together, if you don't like using the dungeon finder, this is not a bad option. What I am excited about this week, though, is the Sclerotic Tentacle lead. This is the one for Mora's Whispers that drops from watchlings inside the portals. This one is awful to try to get. I highly recommend buying this one, especially if you don't yet have Mora's Whispers. Remember, once you have Mora's Whispers, once you can recreate it with transmute crystals as many times as you want. But if you don't yet have the first one, grab this. It's worth it. All right, we have our Tales of Tribute clue. Again, I think if you're paying Tales of Tribute, you're probably getting the clues. If you're a completionist that does not enjoy Tales of Tribute, is the only time I might recommend getting the clue. We have our unreliable archive maps. Consume 20 unreliable archive maps to unlock the Peer into the Mirror Maze achievement and the Shattered Mirror Maze face marks. Those are the face marks. Our first book is Finbor the Resurrected. This one drops out of Infinite Archive, and the eidetic memory is also found in Infinite Archive. If you're not sure how eidetic memory relates to getting the book furnishing, I do have a link below that explains everything and has a checklist so you can keep track of which ones you know and which books you have. Our second book is Thwarting the Daedra Dagon's Cult. This is the one I'm excited about because it drops in Scrivener's Hall. The drop rate in Scrivener's Hall is absolutely atrocious, so I'm buying these every chance I get. It's a handsome book, kind of plain, but pretty handsome. The eidetic memory for this one drops in Shadowfen. Okay, so that's everything that the vendor has. We're going to run an arc of Infinite Archive and see what Overland gear is dropping. Okay, we just ran one arc of Infinite Archive, and we've discovered that this week gear from Alakir Desert and the Reach are dropping. Out of Alakir, we'll get things like Order of Diagna, Robes of the Withered Hand, and Sword Singer. The gear from the Reach that drops is Radiant Bastion, Void Collar, and Witch Knight's Defiance. That wraps it up for this week. We'll see you next Tuesday.